Well, I'm just like sitting here trying to process and figure out what to say. I'm just like, the funny thing is, to peek behind the curtain for those of you tuning in, I was talking to Will here, and I was like, you know what? I've had time to process watching the episode live last night, and you know what? I think I'm going to be okay with it. And then I had flashbacks as to everything that transpired last night, and then
Then
I
we
was
started
just like,
talking about it.
and we started talking about it.
Uh...
It's like, listen, I will forever in a day. TNA, I want you to succeed. There are pretty much that roster. I want them to succeed. I don't think after last night.
From what I said, from what I heard, one thing we didn't talk about before we went live, it sounds like someone from TNA is really succeeding right now. But we'll get into that.
Oh Lord, help us! I want TNA to succeed, but after last night, I have to start questioning if TNA wants to succeed.
Yeah, more or less.
I'm just like, well, we have so much to talk about. But hello, everyone, and it has been a long, arduous month. But we are finally back. Takedown Troupe is here to review TNA wrestling. And yes, I will still be here even when TNA makes very questionable decisions.
Sorry for the clip show. Have no fears. We've got stories for years. Although I'm not sure TNA has stories, period, let alone for years.
I'm just like, I don't, we're going to get into all of that. But of course, I am your host, Mikey. And joining me this evening is my lovable compatriot, Mr. Radio Free Will, or just Will, because there's only one tonight. Yep. So he is the
There can be only one. Oh, no, there can be multiple, and frequently are. But no, tonight, there can be only one.
Oh, my goodness. So the two of us are going to be going over last night's episode of TNA. Also, weirdly enough, making predictions for Turning Point, which is the pay-per-view currently happening right now as we speak, which I'm like, TNA, I need you to stop doing this.
No. Like, okay, this TNA, you know you can control your own schedule, right?
Or else, what are we
doing? I'm sure there's like a certain amount of it. It's like, oh, we already booked it for such and such time, but like, and I know we went over that. I think this was for like Emergence or something like that. How they're like trying to cram all of the feuds into that episode before the pay-per-view, and then the pay-per-view is the next night. And so it's like we're just like I said, trying to finish their homework in homeroom. This was that a million times worse because you had a straight month of clip shows and no active storytelling. I mean, I know they showed up in NXT, so like stuff happened, but not if you're just a TNA fan. And like this product is a goddamn mess.
It's crazy out here. And so, I mean, before we get into the episode, we're going to start with a bit of news because, like, even before I got a chance to watch the episode, all the outlets were already reporting this. And I knew this was already going to be a thing that happened. Like, the writing was on the wall when we were off of Victory Road back in September. I was just like, Joe Hendry is officially a WWE superstar now, which I was like, listen, I'm never going to be anybody against wanting to go get that money, all that good stuff. We want people to succeed. I mean, at the same time, people are like up in arms. I was like, guys, he's been on NXT pretty much the whole entirety of the summer. He was at WrestleMania. He was in the Royal Rumble. Like, we all been knowing. Why are we acting brand new?
And the only way he will even get a little bit over is if they let him retire John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
That's like Mark Henry said it in an interview. That's who should retire John Cena, is Joe Hendry.
I'm here for that. I am totally here for that. It'd be amazing.
And like, honestly, like unless they do that with him, which I doubt they will. Unless they do that with him, I think honestly in WWE, he's going to be another LA Knight, another guy that the audience wants to see shoot to the top real bad. They want to see him do his thing and be successful at it and just fall flat for whatever reason. And like, okay, no, you know what? I'm even going to bring it one step farther back. It's Joe Hendry we're going to call it the Dusty curse.
Oh no.
Because same thing happened with Dusty Rhodes. Legend in the territories, legend with Jim Crockett, legend in the original WCW, right?
Mm-hmm.
Until such a point comes that he can't get work anywhere that's not with Vince McMahon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything they can to bury him.
Oh no.
Okay. Like the yellow polka dots. It's an icon. It's an icon at this point. Him and the yellow polka dots. But see, here's the thing. That was Dusty. He made that work. But once again, even like after that gimmick, like basically they just sort of shat on him for that entire thing and basically forced him out of the company because they couldn't book him. And I mean, I know a lot of that has to do with the fact that number one, it was Vince McMahon booking, and number two, Dusty was used to being his own booker. But like, and then kept that shit going with Dustin Rhodes, with Gold Dust. Like, again, Dustin makes a name for himself in WCW, comes over to WWE, WWF, and because he's Dusty's kid, gets shat on.
Mm-hmm.
Get over to save his life. They burden him with these with demeaning, humiliating gimmicks, which, to be fair, based on some of the interviews that I've seen, part of that is because Dustin, bless his soul, he seems like a very nice guy. I know he's been through a lot with substance abuse and religious trauma, and he's been through a lot. He also seems like kind of an idiot. Like, didn't know what the word androgynous meant, didn't know what Tourette's was until he saw it on Jerry Springer and then applied it to Gold Dust. Like, but it's that kind of thing, because then you also see that with you saw it with Shinsuke. Legend in New Japan, struggles in WWE. You see it with LA Knight, gets super over in TNA and NWA and is struggling in WWE. Like, I don't know how AJ Styles managed to avoid that curse. And frankly, the only way Cody managed to dodge it is because he became just undeniable. I know he's used that phrase himself, but by establishing himself in New Japan and helping to establish AEW, he put himself in a position where it's like, no, I am at the top of my game now. I'm going to go back to be at the top of my game in the biggest company in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and once again, and that made sense for him, I'm like, but it's another instance. Joe Hendry is going to be another instance of WWE taking a top talent and just whizzing it down their leg.
Yeah, well, I mean, we shall see. Well, I will see, because Will here doesn't watch the NXTs. The other Will does, and so do I, and so does Kilt. So, oh man, very interested to see how this Tuesday goes for Hendry as he goes up against Ethan Page and Chelsea for the AAA Mixed Tag Team Championships. So,
I do love that WWE gave him a chance to do another parody song. That was,
yes, that is very. I will never be against that. I was like, ooh, we got budget now. No, just kidding. We got monies, but
we've got a budget now, and we're giving most of it to Roman. It's
for reals. He out here filming his Street Fighter movie. I still think that whoever did the casting of this was wild. I was just like, it was wild. I was just like, Cody, Roman, but then of course my little New Japan heart of like, excuse me? Like, how do we get? I was just like, how are we getting Hiroki Goto for this? What the hell, man? Like, somebody has to be an avid wrestling fan, because how in the
Yep.
fudge did you manage to pull that off? I was like, you have to be a wrestling nerd in some capacity.
Yep.
Anyways, but shout out to Joe Hendry. We will be following his career in the Fed now.
I still believe.
Yes, we still believe. But we've delayed the inevitable long enough, so let's just get into this TNA episode, because once again, it was another live one. And guess what, Will? Our favorite thing happened, where we got overhead shots. No, you put that camera back right now. I was like, gosh darn it, TNA. You had one job and you whatever.
I think they're keeping those there on purpose now, as a way of showing off to TKO. Guys, look how much advertising space we have. Like, seriously, we have a 2-hour program, and a solid half of it you can put in whatever ads you want.
Listen, it is crazy. NXT is getting kind of crazy with the advertisements, but at least we haven't had it on the ring mat yet. But it was really weird this past Tuesday watching a giant Panda Express logo on the Titantron while a match was happening. This is not a joke. It literally happened. I'm watching the match, and then I turned my head up to like where the Titantron is with the camera's shot. And I was like, hold the phone. Is that the Panda Express logo on the screen? What the flip is happening? Anywho. Lord help us. But anywho. So let's get into this TNA episode, because I say we have a lot to talk about, but we just have lots of things that I am scratching my head at. Also,
we don't have a lot to talk about, but we have a lot to say of the little that there is to talk about.
Very, very true. There's lots of things and discussions and things like that.
Yes.
Okay. So let's start this off. So Mike Santana gives us the
Mike Santana gives his victory lap,
which I was just like, yes. I was like, I've missed you on my screen for almost a whole month. Yes, Mike Santana, he gives us the good rah-rah speech, and he is gonna, be the fighting champion that anyone in that locker room can step up. And then Ryan Nemeth comes out and was like, not you.
Okay. Normally I have an issue with people like, what the phrase I use is copying someone else's homework. But like, Mike, bud, if you were gonna copy someone else's homework, yes, copy Eddie Kingston's. It's like they were like, it's just like don't call me Mikey again. It's like, as soon as when he said it like that, it's like, oh, Eddie Kingston has entered the chat. It's
be like, are you in here? Like, what's going on?
It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing? It's like, yeah, no, that was pure Eddie.
I was like, you gotta love a good New Yorker. Like, honestly, I was like, that's the Eddie Kingston. That is the New Yorker. I was just like, hell yes.
It's like, yeah, I came out here in sweatpants and Timbs. What do you want to do about it?
Fine. I love Eddie so damn much.
He's so good. He's so good.
So I'm gonna be completely honest. As soon as I saw this and Mike was so gun-ho of like beating and stepping Ryan Nemeth's face into the canvas, I was sitting here and I was like, I smell a stunt. And we're gonna see if I'm right by the end of the show. I was like, I smell a stunt. Now, I was completely off by said stunt that we ended up getting, but we did eventually get a stunt, which we'll talk about at the very end. But I was just like, you know what, Ryan Nemeth? I can't wait to see your face get stomped in to the canvas. Not gonna lie.
Oh, yeah, always. I've said before, X-Pac heat. I dislike him on every level, not just like kayfabe level. Like, just get him off my goddamn screen.
Be like, go away.
Yeah, it's go away heat.
We love to see. Yep. Oh man. So officially we're going to get Mike Santana versus Ryan Nemeth for the TNA World Championship in the main event on this episode. So I'm like, okay, easy victory for Mike. I smell a stunt still coming. But hey, you know what? This should be a fun one. First title defense in over a month. First televised defense. We shall see how this ends up. Spoiler alert. I was perplexed, and we'll get into it. But right now, we continue on this cavalcade of what the Fness. Um, Kalani, I love you dearly, girl. I really, really do. We need to figure out how we're gonna make you heal better because
Yeah.
we're trying too hard, and I love
Well,
you.
this felt very much like trying to be a heel, and like, yeah, it just like, and especially the way this episode ended, I think it's going to be a lot easier. I think it's going to be a lot easier for her in future episodes, especially given the way this episode ended. This might have been sort of planting the seeds for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no, it was in the moment. It was like, wow, this is kind of a weak meandering heel turn angle they're going for, but okay, sometimes the turn is weak and meandering.
And I think the thing is that I don't know like what kind of classes they got going on in the PC Center, but I'm just like, what makes it frustrating for me, especially, is like, girl, literally last week you cut a promo on NXT that kind of solidified this heel turn, and it wasn't like I'm evil, like twirling my mustache kind of evil. It's just like, no, I'm athletic, I'm amazing. These bitches be crazy because they're about shaking ass in a catchphrase. That was literally from her promo, and I was like, hell yes, I'm kind of here for this. It's a different direction. And then I saw this and I was just like, all right, back to the drawing board. I was just like, don't be this. It's like, oh, you can spell. I'm like, what the flip elementary school level bullshit is this? I was like, what is happening?
And I mean, so basically we've got someone over here copying Tessa Blanchard's homework. It's just sort of it's sort of that typical thing, it's like basically Ash by Elegance had to retire, and now basically we've got 3 or 4 people trying to fill that slot.
Lord help us. And they are not any of the other Elegance brand girls, which is wild
Right.
to me. So we'll get into Kalani and Heather by Elegance later on in the evening, because I'm just like, oh, this could have been great, but it wasn't. So Kalani's got beef with Mara Sade and Zaya and Liang Lee. And I'm just like, this is a whole mess, especially with what's happening tonight at Turning Point. And then, we got Gold Rush, which is NXT, TNA, AAA, and Evolve in the next 2 weeks. I'm like, it's just a whole mess of trying to get people booked and things like that. So I'm just like, whatever, man. Kalani, we're going to talk about you a little bit later, girl. Because right now, we got to talk about, God, this was awful. This was so awful. Listen, I am a supporter of the community. I love Ava. You know what? I was just like, hey, you know what? You're the GM of NXT. I really enjoy you. I love that you're doing it. Your dad has given you the cosign, Ava. You are great. But this was doo-doo. This was weird. This had nothing of substance to it. And then all of a sudden, Ariana Grace comes out just because. So I was like,
this promo could have been an email.
It really could have. And again, I love Ava. Of course, I support my lesbians out here. Yes, she is a lesbian. She has a girlfriend. Oh. It is canonically known. We love her. We support her. But this was an email promo. We could have not used it on the live show. And the fact that we had to go from a quote unquote break with the overhead shot into this and then back to a break, I was like, I can't believe I'm saying this. I was like, I'd rather have them air the Penthouse segment that was exclusively on YouTube during the show than on here.
Your ad here.
It's so wild. Anyways.
This space for rent.
Be like, Ava, we have some questions for you when we get to the end of the show. Because I'm like, who let the B Squad in the house? So we'll get into that, because I was just like, damn, even NXT didn't want to send any of their top stars over. They sent the Evolved B Squad.
Asking who sent in the B Squad. You're teeing up a joke there, Mikey. Like there's a joke that like, this is TNA. It's all B Squad.
Oh man. Anyways, I have questions for you a little bit later, Ava. So we gonna get to you, girl. So after 30 minutes of all this, we finally get into a match.
Speaking of people who desperately need to heel turn,
I'm just like, first and foremost, I want to start with the good. Danny Luna, you're great. I love you.
Danny killed it.
Danny killed it. Dare I say, and I'm being generous when I say this, I think this is one of Indy's better, show outs, so to speak. I think this was better. But yeah, Danny, we love you, girl.
Well, because it's in the opponent. It's like it's there. She like there. There's that caliber of wrestler. Like there's what was it? The caliber of wrestler. People say like, oh, they could wrestle a broom and it would be a good match. I'm not saying Danny Luna is that caliber of wrestler, and I'm not saying Indy Hartwell's as bad as a broom. You know what I'm saying? But like, if you taper that sort of disparity a little bit, like that's where you're at. It's like this was a better match than Indy has had in her return to TNA because she was going up against Danny Luna.
Very, very, very true. So, again, Danny Luna is amazing. Indy had this was one of her better show-outs due to the opponent she is. However, emotions got the best of her, and Indy caused a DQ with the chair. And then we get a promo afterwards where she challenges Danny Luna to a no DQ match at Turning Point. And during that whole promo, I was like, damn. I was like, Indy Hartwell's opponent is not necessarily in the ring. Her all-time enemy is Reverb. I was just like, holy. I was like, Indy Hartwell's worst nightmare and mortal enemy is the Reverb.
Yep.
I was like, holy hell, that audio was bad.
Yep. That there was that certain level of feedback in there that honestly, when that feedback came in, I like there was a split second where I thought like, wait, who's interrupting her? Whose entrance music is that? Oh no, it's just feedback. That is actual feedback from the mic.
It's like, damn, y'all want this TV deal, and you're not making any good points of why people should invest.
Like I said, like Danny Luna, like this one. My hope for this no DQ match is that it's a double turn. We can turn Indy Hartwell heel, because if she's already, going for those weapons, that's, sort of point towards heeldom.
Mm-hmm.
And if Danny Luna can win without using them, I think that's what, that would be the way I would write this anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like Indy needs to turn heel.
Yeah, I think it would do her better.
Yeah.
So, anyways, again, I thought this was okay. Obviously, we got a DQ from Indy. We get a no disqualification match happening at Turning Point between these two. I'm like, okay, not necessarily what I wanted, but hey, you know what? It's something. And after 4 months, I'm going to see where the rest of the night takes us. So, and then this happened. Lord help us. What?
So it's, another, cleanses coming promo from Eric Young. However, I have a theory about this.
Tell me your theory.
He kept saying, like, the cleanse is coming, and then started saying, listen to the truth. The truth is coming. I think our truth is coming back to TNA.
Lord help us. That I'm not gonna lie, if our truth is back, I think this would be kind of crazy and amazing.
Eric Young and our truth as a heel faction.
Lord, that would be. Hey, you know what? I don't have high expectations, but somehow I feel like TNA would treat Ron Killings better than Fed. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yep. Well, like he could even sort of like make good on the whole "put some respect on my name" sort of heel turn that he was going for in WWE before they said like it was basically like, oh, there's major outcry about us getting rid of Ron. Yeah, you can stick around for a bit, Ron. 3 months later, all right, that's enough. Bye, Ron.
Gosh. And again, now he's back to his comedy character, talking about how he needs to give his ball back to Nick Aldis, and I'm just like, oh god. Tune in Sunday to hear our feelings about this whole Last Time Is Now tournament with no brackets, because like whose line's in it anyways, you know, it's made up and the points don't matter. Like the brackets are made up and the points and the actual winners don't matter.
Oh, have they actually gone through with it? I haven't been paying attention to WWE for the past hot minute.
Yeah, so
because I heard they were doing the tournament thing to see who was going to retire him, but
and I'm just like sitting here and I'm just like, y'all don't have no brackets, because I already know y'all probably don't know who's going to participate. And then you got this tournament happening in the middle of when you're trying to build for Survivor Series, which is in 2 weeks, by the way. So I'm just like, listen, I always complain, but then of course, you know, I'm there for the experience. I'm taking my mom to her first WWE event. We're going to Survivor Series because this is in San Diego. So I was just like, listen, I have my problems with the Fed, but honestly, she wants to go because she's out here trying to support women's wrestling too. I was like, that's reason enough for me to take her. She also wants to see Penta, but I told her, I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be on this show. I'm just putting it out there.
Have you guys done what is it? It's what is it? Is it Glow? It's like Ladies of Wrestling, Women of Wrestling,
something like that.
Like that.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say she's become the newest entrant into the wrestling world because it started back in April because she didn't want me going by myself because, you know, she's mom, she's got to protect the babies. But she went with me to the TNA pay-per-view, and from there she has gone with me almost every event since then, because then she was with me for that TNA pay-per-view in April. She was with me when we went to Dynamite 300 and Collision 100 for AEW. I took her to, we went to our first GCW show not too long ago too. And so now I'm taking her to Survivor Series, and we're going back to GCW in February. So it's been crazy.
I know Women of Wrestling is set out in they're based out in LA. And an old friend of mine from I haven't spoken to her in over a decade at this point, but I worked with her a bit back in the day. Goes by the name Delilah Doom.
Nice.
In Women of Wrestling out there.
Nice.
So, and once again, it's an all femme fed. So,
yeah. Notice how we're talking. This is what we're looking at on the screen was so much more. Listen, Will, you know how I stand on this. I hate this.
Yep.
But you know what? If Ron Killings comes back and this is what we're going for, actually, I'd be like, you know what? Color me intrigued. Still hate the concept and the idea for it, but color me intrigued. I do appreciate that he was doing this as people were entering. I was just like, okay, that's new. I was like, I'm kind of here for it. This is great. I was just like, I still hate the concept, but hey, at least we're going somewhere different. And he's not out here looking like he belongs in a music video with the stupid ski mask. I was like, thank God you ditched it for now. It's like, we will see if it makes a return later on. But Eric Young is promising that the cleanse is coming. And I'm like, okay. So after this is what irritated me, because I was like, why was this not aired during the actual live show? Why did I have to go to YouTube to watch this?
Yeah, I didn't watch this actually.
It's okay. And honestly, I was like, listen, I'm not the biggest AJ Francis fan in turning character, but he's a heel, so he does his job. This was more intriguing than what we got on the show. I was like, why was this Penthouse not on the show? I'm kind of here for it, and I can't believe I'm saying that. This was the most intriguing thing. This was the best promo part of the whole entire night, which is saying a lot. And I was just like, AJ Francis, BDE, this is what makes the match for Turning Point tonight, which I was just like, okay, now I'm interested. Let's see where this goes. I mean, it's a penthouse segment. AJ Francis talking himself up,
Yep.
has beef with BDE because BDE eliminated AJ Francis at the Call Your Shot Gauntlet back at Bound for Glory 4 weeks ago. I will still never let that go. And so this match, they get a singles match 1-on-1 at Turning Point. That's all this segment was. But again, it was the most enthralling thing of the evening, which is saying a lot. Oh Lord. And at this point of the show, it's like, wow, this is kind of like a nothing burger of a show. But hey, you know what?
Yep.
Let's just see. I'm looking at my clock and I was like, we still got about another hour of the show. Let's see where we go from here. So we go from this, which was exclusively on YouTube, which I was just like, why? This picture, I swear. Look, I'm not expecting every wrestler to be like a EGOT level of talent when it comes to the acting chops, but I couldn't help looking at the system when JDC announced that come January at Genesis, it would be his final wrestling match and he would retire to go start a family. And I'm watching all the other members of the system and they're like, no, don't do it. Oh my God. Colored a surprise. I was just like, God, you guys suck. I was just like, Lord. They're like, no, he wasn't ready. I was like, this was bad, you guys. I mean, JDC, the fact that I look at him and then he's like, I've been wrestling for 20 years. I'm like, the fuck you mean wrestling for 20 years? And
27 years, he said.
Yeah, 27, my bad. And I'm just like looking back at like when I was first introduced to him in the Fed, I'm like, my God, I was still in college back then. What the fuck? Oh my God. I was like, damn, you have been on my TV screen forever. But I mean, here's what we got, right? So the system, it's been a whole month, but they finally cut a promo talking about their victory against Order 4 at the somewhat hardcore war at Bound for Glory. And then, you know, JDC announces this retirement. The Rascals come out saying that, you know, they want a piece of the system. And you know what? Since JDC is on his road to retirement, they want to be a part of that. So the Rascals challenged the system to a 4-on-4 match for Turning Point. And the Rascals like, we will get our partner and everyone it'll be one big family versus another. And I'm just sitting here. I'm like, there we go. Desmond's coming back. That 30 days non-compete is back up. So we shall see. Spoiler alert.
I don't know who Desmond is. So
Desmond, formerly known as Wesley over in NXT.
Okay, yep. I have heard that name.
Yeah, so Wesley released a month ago, 30-day non-compete. 30 days are up. He was, even before he went over and signed with WWE and NXT, the Rascals have been a thing forever, which includes him, Wentz, Trey Miguel, and Myron Reed. And so I was just like, here we go. I was just like, we're going to get all the Rascals under one roof, which is going to be nuts. So I was like, yeah, this is going to be an easy point when we do predictions. I know who's going to win this one. And again, the craziest thing, I was like, I have watched TNA long enough to want to boo the system and have them get off my screen to cheering for them at Bound for Glory. I was just like, what a turn. A turn. Anyways.
As the heel turns.
Exactly. Start playing the dramatic music, like soap opera telenovela music. Be like, he's my twin brother. Anyways. Be like, oh, love you. Anyways. All right. Anyways, let's move on with our lives.
Okay. I appreciated this promo a little bit.
Same.
Okay. I appreciated this because you've got Order 4 coming in and you hear the shutter clicks. You see like the little like strobing lights and it's like, okay, it's like, all right, so they're playing up the whole like politician, you know, celebrity kind of thing, people coming through. And then they just pan over. It's like, no, it's a Hardy's photo session. It's like that. Golf clap.
The funny thing is this is one of the things I enjoyed too. I was just like, okay, I could get behind this. So, as we can see, the Hardys are one set of tag team championships lighter. And for those of you who aren't keeping score at home, the Hardys lost the NXT Tag Team Championships to Dark State a couple weeks ago at NXT's pay-per-view Halloween Havoc. Really fun show. And they lost in a broken rules match, which was the crazy part. I was like, damn. Because it wasn't Jeff and Matt, it was Brother Nero and Broken Matt Hardy. I was just like, oh Lord, help us. But yeah, so I mean, Order 4 is looking for some gold. They want to, get the titles off of the Hardys. Tasha Steele's playing intermediate. So yeah, this is setting up for stuff that's happening at Turning Point and probably going to carry us into Final Resolution too. So glad to see that we're pivoting and Order 4 is still going to be feuding now that we're done with the system. Thank God. Now we turn to Cedric Alexander and the Hardys by the end of the next match, which I was like, okay. So again, you brought this up. It's like, hey, this is the episode before a pay-per-view. We don't have really a card, so let's try to get all these segments in to say, hey, now we got matches made.
After a month of clip shows.
Yeah, after a whole month of clip shows. So Gia Miller, who I'm still debating if I want to put your match with Tessa as the worst match of this year. I still got to go through that list, unfortunately, before the end of the year. But Gia Miller checks in with BDE talking about, hey, how are you feeling after getting chokeslammed through a table? And BDE's like, it hurts, but I'll do okay. And AJ Francis is going to get it at Turning Point, which then prompts Leon Slater to come in to hype up BDE and, to talk to him about all this. And then entering from stage left, we have Rich Homie Swan, as I call him. So Rich Swan is here. And you know what? I've mentioned Rich Swan. And literally this whole segment sets up a match where Leon's going to defend the X Division Championship at Rich Swan. And I was like, low-key hype. I was like, but Leon is always fantastic. So I don't have to worry about that. He'll probably end up being one of my favorite matches of Turning Point. Putting it out there. But I was just like, damn, we crammed in a lot of stuff in this backstage segment. Yes. Anyways, moving on. Because we still got a whole lot of show to talk about.
This whole episode just felt like a trailer for Turning Point.
It really did. One of the better matches of the night. I'm not going to lie. This was probably by default my favorite match of the entire night. Cedric, I love you. Jason Hodge, I also love you. This is pretty decent. Cedric wins. Order 4 comes out to beat up on Cedric. The Hardys come out for the save. Sets up a 6-man for Turning Point. Cedric and the Hardys versus Order 4.
And Ali, right?
Yes. So Order 4, it would be Ali and the Great Hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a match. It sure happened.
It happened, and unfortunately,
Cedric was good in this. Like I like he definitely had. There were definitely some high spots there, like the reversal of the what they call it, the Ali cutter. Like the reversal of the Ali cutter into the lumbar check was really nice. I like that a lot. But yeah,
absolutely. So again, setting everything up for Turning Point. We're getting the Hardys. Yep. And Cedric versus Order 4, which is Ali and the Great Hands. I actually really like this package because I wasn't very familiar with Miss Mila Moore, who is the newest TNA Knockouts, signee. And I was just like, you know what? I like this. This was great. I will have to give TNA credit, at least because we've gotten more new Knockout signees over the last couple of months. I really appreciate these pre-taped segments that we get to learn more about the new Knockout signees and a little bit about their wrestling history and why they like it and how long they've been wrestling and stuff like that. And I'm like, good on you, girls. Good on you. So again, I'm not too familiar with Mila, but I'm looking forward to.
From the sounds of it, she's only been at it for like a couple of years. Like didn't grow up as a fan or anything like that. It was just got into it in college and was like, yeah, sure, why not? I'll try it. And now she's working for one of the top 3 companies in the country. So,
or according to Chris Jericho, the number 2, I was just like, Jericho, shut up. I was like, it's like,
Chris,
dang,
Chris,
just go away. Just shut up. Anyways,
scoot.
Boot, scoot, and boogie, dude. Yep. Anyways, I'm excited to see more of Mila whenever she's on television. So very excited. And I'm happy that the Knockouts division is getting more stuff because we had a retirement. We still have somebody out pending investigation. And we need more people in this division to, make it thrive. Because we're almost running on fumes right now.
No. See, here's the thing, though. They don't. They've got plenty. There's because who
stop throwing them in tag teams.
Who did we not see tonight? We didn't see Jody Threat. We didn't see Rosemary. We didn't see.
We didn't see Mila Grace or Harley Cameron either. Not Harley Cameron. Harley Hudson.
Yeah, I was gonna say Harley Cameron. Like, no, hey, that's. That you mean my future wife? No, I'm kidding. That's creepy to say that because I think I'm older than her. But
don't let your girlfriend find it. Send it to her. I'm just kidding. Look what he said. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to start trouble. I will cry if that ends up happening.
No. I. Neither here nor there.
Yeah, there was a lot of knockouts on this show. We saw some of them, but there's a lot more than that we didn't see. And we're going to get to it when we do our predictions. But how the hell do we have a Knockouts Tag Team Championship match and we saw nothing of the inspiration on this show? I was just like, God, those poor girls. I swear to gosh. Anywho, but shout out to you, Mila. We'll see you when we see you on television, girl. Kalani is in action. We find out that she's defending the TNA Knockouts World Championship against Heather by Elegance. This was okay. I wanted it to be better. I know Heather Reckless is good, and Kalani is very athletic. But I feel like there was some hesitation in this match, and it kind of definitely showed through, and it was a little bummer to watch.
It's also... Can we just talk about this graphic here for a second? Kalani Jordan in action. When you say Wrestler X in action, that is usually broadcasting like, hey, we know you want to see them do their thing. So we got like a local enhancement talent. We grabbed a jobber off the street to jump in the ring, take on a new name, and just try to make them look good. This is a former TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champion.
Mm-hmm. Rude.
Yeah. Like Kalani Jordan in action, that's telling me that, okay, the next thing we're going to see is Kalani Jordan's entrance with a quick cut over to the ring and their opponent from 3 doors down the street. Fighty McRing person, and then they just do the arms up and little dance.
Yeah. Anyways, again, this was a shorter match. Kalani retains the TNA Knockouts World Championship, and I'm just like, yeah, because she's defending it in a triple threat next Tuesday in New York City against Liang Li and NXT's Jordan Grace. What a sentence to say in this match. I was just like, you signed at WWE, you signed it to Jordan Grace at NXT, yet you're still having her fight for the TNA Championship. The fuck? I was like, all right. Anywho, still should be a fun match because I honestly think those 3 could probably bring something fun. But again, I watch everything, so I'll keep you updated.
Speaking of Jordan Grace, she posted a great video to social media sometime this week of it's like a security camera shot of her at home. And it's her husband, Jonathan Grisham, walks up to her and like gives her a hug and then like puts one leg up around her waist and then like awkwardly kind of like maneuvers and puts his other leg up around her waist, and she like carries him for a couple of feet, and then I'm just sitting here like # uppies for the boys. Okay, that's what it is. Uppies for the boys.
Lord, I
I
cannot, but also yes.
I say that as a 6'3", 300-pound man. Uppies for the boys.
All right, Will. So what you're saying is, when I see you in person, it's uppies. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, my girlfriend's 5'3", so I'm not getting uppies anytime soon. It's
That's true. I think that's very, very true. I was like, hey, you know what? I'll try. Anywho. But yeah, so Kalani retains the championship. She's going to have a busy couple of weeks, including at Turning Point and at Gold Rush, which is going to be very interesting to say the least. Anyways, we got to move on with the rest of the show. Once again, the mortal enemy of everyone is Reverb. Here's the thing. I love Elijah. I really, really do. But I am to the point in wrestling. I was like, maybe we don't need to do no more concerts. I was just like, I think we're good. I think I'm okay if we don't get it. So I'm like, I'm fine. However, it does seem that we are now getting Elijah and Ali feud out of this, which I was like, hey, you know what? Sign me up. I'm here for it.
It's good to see. It's good to see another like big name guy come back. You know, it's like we've had an issue of too many heels lately, and having Elijah come back puts more baby faces in the main event scene, which is this is needed, you know.
Exactly. So again, this was a concert. Ali comes out, attacks Elijah, and yeah, setting up things for the future, which I'm okay with. And then this is where shit hits the fan for me. I was just like, okay. So we are going to talk about this main event portion. Right?
Congratulations. Congratulations, Mike Santana. Didn't like someone pointed out, isn't he was like he was like the first Puerto Rican TNA champion?
He is the first Puerto Rican world champion in this company, and just like the rest of America, we couldn't even give him that. I was just like, your 30 days are up, new champion. I was like, anyways, let's walk through this, right? So we get to our main event, TNA World. I almost said TNT Championship. I was like, that's a whole different company.
Yep.
But we get the TNA World Championship defended here. Mike Santana defending his title in the first ever defense of it against Ryan Nemeth. So, as predicted, Mike Santana puts boots to ass and is literally just beating up Ryan the whole entire match, right?
Yep.
So then Nick is coming out with the Call Your Shot gauntlet. I'm like, ooh, okay, this could be interesting. And then, insert, fill a character here in the hoodie. He comes out and attacks, Nick Nemeth backstage. And Mike Santana's like, the fuck just happened? And then this is where I threw up my hands. So I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Like, honestly, I'm watching this going like, wait a minute. Hold on. You mean to tell me that NXT, who famously films at Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida, is going to invade TNA after TNA has had many interactions with NXT when TNA is at Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida, where they frequently film NXT tapings? Shock.
Let me surprise. I was like, they don't even film at Full Sail anymore. They film at the Performance Center. But even still, yeah, they haven't. They were just at Full Sail like a couple weeks ago for Homecoming. Okay. But yeah, they've been filming at the Performance Center. But the whole point being, I was just like, I'm looking at all these individuals. I was like, so the people who should have actually had beef with TNA, I don't know, Trick, Ricky, the people that were involved in that TNA versus NXT Showdown show we got in October, obviously couldn't be bothered to be here. So not only did we not send the B squad of NXT, We literally sent the B squad of Evolve, the developmental program slash, TV show free on Tubi every Wednesday. Check out my report cards for those. Shameless plug. But I was just like, you got the whole B squad of Charlie Dempsey, Stacks, High Rise, Brooks Jensen, fucking Robert Stone. And I'm just like, you have a serious problem when the most recognizable person here is Lexus King, Brian Pillman's son. I was just like, oh my God.
Well, it's
I
like
was
the
just
whole like between Lexus King and Charlie Dempsey, it's like, oh, good, it's the Nepo Baby squad. And I mean, Ava's already here, so it's.
I'm just like, Ariana Grace, we all know that you let them in because your boyfriend slash fiance slash probably husband to be Stack is beating up Steve Backlund. And this is the thing that irritates me, right? So I was like, how the fuck did the B squad? Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Hometown man, like, okay, you can get your ass beat. Like, makes sense. But how the hell do you beat up on Steve Macklin and some of like Macklin is a champion? What the oh,
Santana
like,
and Mike Santana. Like
that's who I was like, what the fuck is happening? I was like, how'd you let the B squad? And then Robert Stone taking off his fucking shirt and then hitting people with chairs. I was just like, oh my God. And this is where I was like, oh my God, I was right. This is a stunt. And then I was just like, we get a DQ finish. And this is how it goes off the air. Fine, whatever. And then Frankie Kazarian's music hits. And I'm like, oh my God, TNA, you better fucking not. Because I swear to all the wrestling gods on the planet, you cannot be this fucking stupid. Did we not learn from when we did this with Joe Hendry earlier this year? And I was just like, you made Joe Hendry wait longer than he should have to become world champion. And, the match is made. And by the end of this, I was just like, oh God, no. And then this happened. And I was just like, hang on, hold up. One sec. There. All right. We are thrilled to invite you to dive into the world of wrestling with us at BC WrestlePod. Your opinions and insights are what make our wrestling community vibrant and diverse. Whether you are a longtime fan or new to the scene, your perspective is value. When sharing your thoughts, please remember to keep it respectful. I'm putting this up there for our own safety, not for people who might be chiming in, because listen, I'm going to start off positive, right? Frankie Kazarian, as much as your character annoys the hell out of me, I never have to question your work because you are fantastic. You were at the GCW show that I was at, and you put on a hell of a match against Jordan Oliver. Fantastic stuff. You are now a Grand Slam champion, which has only been held by 5 other men across TNA's history. I'm very proud of you, and I love that for you. And I think you're a fantastic wrestler. God damn it, TNA. Oh my God, dude. Oh well, all right, I have to coherently try to use my words instead of just making onomatopoeias, sound effects up in here, right? The term that TNA has yet to shake after all this time is LOL TNA, because they make some fucking weird ass decisions booking wise, and for what? In the words of one of my favorite drag queens, Bosco, this is how I feel, even though it had to apply to drag queens and men, but it applies here. It's just like, men, part 2, Electro Boogaloo. Sometimes I have to ask myself, why? For what? And
why is TNA?
Honestly, those are my 3 questions. So I'm like, why? For what? And honestly? Oh God, Will. Oh man. I don't even know if mad was the right way to describe how I felt last night. I think I was in disbelief. I was depressed. I was angry. I was like literally
you went through every stage of grief.
Like 10 times fold. Like I went through it so fucking fast. I was just like, God damn it, TNA. God. I was just like, listen, it's already hard enough to want to have people watch this show because of all the questionable shit you do. And then this is what you do, and you have a fucking uproar. And then when you try to work it earlier today that Mike Santana is not answering phone calls and hasn't reported to, Turning Point, and I'm just like, this is
shit,
some
really?
bullshit. Whatever the fuck you think this is going, I'm like, what kind of ECW 1990s booking bullshit is this? What the fuck was this? Ah! Oh my god. Mm. All right, okay. All right, I'm back.
You're good.
Lord, again, why, for what, and honestly, nothing like, damn, TNA, you love wrestling, even the slimmer of success from the jaw. You like wrestling failure from the jaws of success. Like, that's supposed to be the other way around.
It's
Why are we doing this to Mike Santana? Did he do something he wasn't supposed to? Like, why? And then, just to add insult to injury, this Mike Santana, like the day before, is like, "Hey guys, I'm 1,000 days sober," and I was just like, "God, TNA, why?" It just makes it worse.
And like, I don't know. It's just, anytime I've ever watched wrestling, I've been the least interested in the main event scene. Like, I always prefer the tag teams or the undercard, or because they're doing more fun and interesting stuff rather than just sort of straightforward, I will beat you for this belt kind of stories. Like, I don't know, like, this, honestly, this just kind of, like, don't get me wrong, it's not, I don't enjoy it, but it also just kind of washed over me. Like, I'm not deeply offended by it, but like, it's one of the, I think the main reason I'm not deeply offended by it is because it's like, yeah, it's TNA. Of course, they don't know how to, book anything. Like, did you guys secretly hire Vince Russo while nobody was looking? Fuck.
Oh man. So, Frankie Kazarian is our new TNA World Champion. So I'm just like, now he's champion entering his tag team match against Mike Santana and Steve Macklin. So I was just like, okay, well, that was the way to end TNA. And I was just like, Lord help me. And that is how this Thursday's episode ended. Damn, that was a show. That was the thing that happened.
Yep.
Oh man.
And
Alrighty.
the TNA invasion continues.
Lord help us.
That's the new bloodline. Yeah, they're still invading.
I'm just like, but why though? Why? Yep. I don't understand. Why are we doing this? Ugh. Anyways. Alrighty. Well, we still got one thing to do, which at this point, I think the pay-per-view is probably over, but it doesn't matter because we still got to do it for our predictions league.
Sure.
So let me just send this message out to you really quick. So what we are about to do is we are going to quickly be making our predictions for Turning Point, which we will be here next Friday. Well, at least I will be. Hopefully I got somebody else, but you know what? If the boys don't want to show up, I totally understand.
Hey, I would show up, except I'm going to be in Philly.
No, you have a whole, yeah, you have a legit reason, and honestly, I'm happy for you. But you know what? Let's just do this. So we're going to be doing our predictions for Turning Point. There is a match, crazy enough, on the countdown, as well as, the actual show. So we're going to quickly go through everything. Honestly, when I made this form, I was like, okay, we got this. Let's see what happens. And then everything that happened on Thursday. I was like, well, let's see how this goes. So let's get into the countdown match. So we get a triple threat just because Jake something, Mance Warner, the hometown man. I was like, no stakes, at least to my knowledge, are for this. This is just a match on the countdown show. And I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, I want to root for these three equally. I'm going with Jake just because, and I'm biased. It hurt me when they announced, Deadlock Pro Wrestling was on hiatus. I'm like,
I'm gonna give it to Mance.
I love Mance too. I will take it any day of the week. This show was. I want the hometown man to. I love hometown man. This is stupid, but I love it. So, all right, let's get into the main card. Let's start off with the no DQ match between Danny Luna and Indy Hartwell. I am gonna go with my inclination is to want to pick Danny, but I think we're gonna get a couple matches out of them. So you know what? I'm gonna go with Indy on this one.
Yeah, that's I'm right there with you.
Cool. Alrighty. Hopefully it's fun. I want it to be a fun match. And again, Danny Luna is very, very good. And hopefully we'll make Indy look pretty good too. So this should be interesting and should be fun. Moving on. Again, I'm so mad that this match is happening. Not because I don't want it to, but literally the inspiration were nowhere to be seen on Thursday's episode. But we are getting a TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship match. The inspiration defending the titles against the Angel Warriors, which is Liang Li and Zaya Brookside, which will also be going up against, the team of Victoria Crawford and Tessa Blanchard. I'm going with inspiration here.
Yeah. I don't really like any of them. So, yeah, we'll
Fair.
see. Inspiration retains.
Yes, sir. Anyways, moving on, we are getting the 8-man tag team match. The System taking on the Rascals with a mystery fourth partner. And I was just like, y'all already know we're getting the formerly Wesley Desmond Xavier is coming back. I got the Rascals winning this one because I'm like, you can't have the Rascals be reunited and then lose.
Yeah, no, that's same. Rascal. I feel like having the Rascals win is the obvious choice.
Yeah. Moving on. AJ Francis versus BTE again. I also feel like we might be getting a couple matches out of this. And I'm going to go with AJ on this one. I think I'm going to pick AJ to win this one.
I think if we want to get a couple matches out of it, it's got to be BTE.
That's true. Fair. Anyways, next up, we have Cedric Alexander and the Hardys versus Ali and the Great Hand. So basically Order 4. Surprisingly, I think I'm going to go with Order 4 on this one. Especially because Cedric got the win on Thursday. So I feel like Order 4 is going to win here.
Yeah, I feel. Yeah, I think it's going to be Order 4 for this one because it'll be setting up for the Great Hands to take the tag titles from the Hardys, which they desperately need to have stripped from them.
Honestly, I think the Great Hands being tag champs could be really, really fun because I like, Hotch and them. I was just like, I like them both, and it'd be fresh for the tag team division, honestly. X Division Championship, Leon Slater versus Rich Homie Swan. This is an easy pick, Leon.
Yep.
This kid has the rocket strapped to him. There's no way you slow his momentum.
Yep.
And honestly, I'm gonna be so for real. Leon is probably my favorite champion right now. I would have said Mike Santana, but after Thursday, that's not happening right now.
Yeah, right.
God. And I know, I'm pretty sure Leon will probably end up joining NXT if that is his choice down the line. But damn, do I love him and Javon as a tag team right now?
Yeah.
I was just like, God, their match at Bound for Glory was so much fun. Anywho, but yeah, easy Leon for both of us.
Yep.
This is also another easy one. Kalani Jordan
Yeah.
versus over M by Elegance in the TNA Knockouts World Championship.
Yep.
Now with this one, this is supposedly the main event of the show. And I'm just like, Nick Nemeth, who still has his shot gauntlet, and Frankie Kazarian, the new TNA World Champion, taking on International Champion Steve Macklin and Michael Santana. My hope is TNA would not beat Mike Santana further down than he had already was last night. But
my personal hope is that okay. I hope see, here's the thing. I hope Nick Nemeth and Frankie Kazarian win, but then as they win, Nick cashes in his call your shot.
That would be amazing. Anyways, I'm going. Yeah, that would be great. I'm picking Macklin and Mike Santana because I don't.
Sure.
TNA is dumb, but I don't think they would be this stupid to beat him down further. But then again, we'll see what happens when I watch the pay-per-view tomorrow morning. But that's going to be it. Those are our predictions locked in for Turning Point. And that is officially the end of our TNA review. Will, thank you so much for trudging through this week of TNA with me. I always say this, TNA, you make me mad sometimes, but honestly, I get to spend Fridays with some really good friends of mine and we get to talk shit about wrestling. So even though the product may not be all that fun, you know what? It was the friends we made along the way that really counts. Or some bullshit like that. Anyway.
It's the bumps we took along the way.
It's the bumps we took along the way and the amount of tears I shed. But that is a whole nother podcast. But that's going to be it for us here tonight at Takedown Troupe. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do have one more review later this weekend to wrap up our week, which is the WWE review, where Raw was pretty good and SmackDown is the jury is still out on that because I got to watch it and then figure out how I feel about that one. And then it's crazy that we're almost at the end of November where all the pay-per-views are happening. It's crazy. So, I mean, to look forward to all the things that are happening this upcoming week. So we got the WWE review on Sunday. We are reviewing the Blood and Gut show for AEW up next Tuesday, which was...
I've heard it was killer.
Oh my God, it was so good, Will. Like, listen, the men always go crazy, but listen, the women showed up and showed out, and I'm just like, there was, it's Blood and Guts. So there was blood, nails, tables, a whole entire mirror. Like
I saw a great
kicking all the ass.
I saw a great meme that said the true survivor of the women's Blood and Guts match, and it's Harley Cameron's puppet lying on the ground with its arm up in the air.
There was Minnie Monet went ham that match. The women showed out. Hobbs and Hangman had a really fun match. The men was also crazy. I'm like, of course, Darby Allin out here doing fucking crazy shit. He got thrown through a table on fire. Gabe Kidd is a psychopath. Pac looks like Mighty Mouse because of his big old ears and how jacked he is. And Kyle O'Reilly, my MVP, which was something I never thought I would say in 2025. My MVP. So that's next Tuesday. And then we got the Full Gear watch along. Progress is having a show this week. Survivor Series is coming up. It is crazy the next couple of weeks here at BC WrestlePod, and you can all get to witness this action unfold during these lives that we do. But we're going to get up on out of here so we can enjoy what's left of the rest of our evenings or go to sleep, because that could be either one of us, honestly.
Yep.
But until next time, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay biconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you later, but until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.